Welcome back to DreamHack Open December with Christmas cheer and Counter-Strike as the only thing on the cards. And we're going to tell you why we are here. There's money on the line, of course, but more importantly, we're looking at that road to Katowice with the ESL Pro Tour, as we do now have our teams locked in. Plenty of fantastic teams getting their way all the way through to Katowice, the play-in for Complexity, Fnatic, and OG, and of course with Heroic, Astralis, Vitality, Na'Vi, G2, and FaZe Clan already qualified, but still opportunities for teams to gain some points. And of course you can see Virtus.pro currently sat in 15th. They won't be able to get to Katowice, but of course we do have plenty of other events throughout the year. Moving forward, we can take a little bit of a look at how North America, Asia, for example, have managed to get themselves through. Again, Furia EG already in the tournament itself, and a few other teams making their way through to the play. And I'm sure seeing Tyloo over with some of the European and NA teams will make Blair a very, very happy man. But as said, there are plenty of other tournaments coming up throughout the year. So we will take a little bit of a gander at some of the events that you will be seeing throughout 2021, going all the way through to Cologne, coming up in the middle of the year, and of course finishing things off with a couple of Intel Extreme Masters events, even one going to be in Asia. So there you go. The smile on Blair's face only gets wider as the seconds go by. And of course, we are going to be bringing both of those lovely gentlemen back in to talk a little bit more about what's going to be happening today. Are you excited for some of those events, Blair? I know that seeing Tyloo face off against non-Asian teams is probably going to make you happy at least.
I'm not a big fan of watching teams get beaten up, but yeah, sure. Whatever, you know.
Okay, fair enough.
I think they're going to get wrecked, honestly. They've been struggling so far, but anyway.
Well, moving forward, we are going to take ourselves a look at the groups for this event, of course, and I feel like at least in both groups, I would say there's a heavy favorite. Group A, Group B both have the two CIS powerhouses of VP and Gambit, who I think we're going to be excited to see. But I'd like to just get a little bit deeper. Move into the bracket. I'm going to start with you, Maui, talking about Group B and sort of who you're looking at throughout this group, maybe who's a dark horse.
Well, I actually think that the initial match should show us who that dark horse is. Nemiga and Saw are pretty evenly matched, so I'm kind of interested to see if Nemiga can find their footing once again, because I know they were having trouble with Lollipop having a broken appendage. I think his arm or his hand.
His arm.
His hand, yeah. His hand was broken, so we'll see if they're able to regain some form. Saw, they have always got Stadoto. He's a guy that's caught a lot of people's attention. So that should be a pretty good opener, I would say.
Well, moving into our group, of course, is where we'll be going through on the main stream. Don't forget to check out the B stream if you want to see any of those matches. Blair, who are you excited to see within Group A?
I mean, VP obviously being one of the big favorites, right? Just coming off fresh, pretty big win over at Flashpoint. Then, yeah, XSET's it's gonna be rough for them. They haven't played a game at all, I believe. At least on HLTV, they might have played a few smaller tournaments, which maybe I'm not aware of. Forza Spada, it's gonna be interesting, right? Forza, I thought we're gonna be playing with this newer lineup with Forrester and Waro 2K coming in, but it looks like they're gonna be playing with the original lineup. So it's gonna be Z-Power, always fun to watch him play, Almazer and Flit, and of course for the side of Espada, I feel there is a world where we can see someone like Dexter just pop off and Espada potentially get the win over Forza over here. So I think it's a little bit more, it's kind of interesting. I think both the groups are very similar. You have two from favorites. The second and third spots are pretty even. Maybe Group A is a tad bit easier perhaps.
Yeah, I could see that point. And of course, we have to start moving towards what will be our first match of the day. Virtus.pro looking to face off against XSET. We will have our veto. And although this might be a little bit tougher, I know we do have a VP fanboy in the house in the form of Maui. So where are you predicting? You've been watching them for the last month at that other event I can't remember the name of. And I'm just curious, where's this one going?
Well, looks like we're already going to see the bans there. XSET banning out Inferno, and VP, that's their permaban of Nuke. Now, the pick for VP, I'm interested because they actually can pick towards their opponent's weaknesses. I don't know if there's really a particular map they have in mind for this one, but XSET, I would not be surprised to see them pick Train. It's a map that they've played a lot in ESEA Intermediate, but they will actually go for Dust too. And VP, Vertigo, that's a map that they're kind of like have been feeling out for a while. So yeah. I like the pick. It's kind of a map that's not usually their first pick. It's more of a secondary. So they're probably going to try a few things out here.
Yeah, I feel like if you look at the maps, these are actually kind of favoring XSET. Again, when I say favoring, I mean like it's maps which aren't necessarily the best maps for VP. But like Maui said, right? They're probably going to use this game as an opportunity. And it's an official game, kind of like trying to take a little bit easy, flesh it out, figure out what they're going to be doing on those 2 maps. If it goes to 3 maps, that is, at the end over there. For XSET, I won't lie. I don't have much data. They did play DreamHack, I think it was like Showdown a few months ago. They played Train a couple of times, Mirage a couple of times. That's about it. So really not much data to work with. Hopefully, they have something in store for us here. Dust2 getting picked, though, not too sure about that.
Yeah, we can take a closer look at each team on the specific maps that we will be having coming up. And I feel like the head-to-head's not really going to tell us very much. Unfortunately, like VP, they love themselves a bit of Dust2. We know that. I think other than Nuke, they have a ridiculously high win percentage in comparison to a lot of other teams. I think it's been the grind through some of the, say, smaller events they played along the way that might make things a little bit more biased in their favor. But at the same time, they do seem to have a very strong map pool at the moment, Maui.
Yeah, for VP, they can play actually every map very competently, except for Nuke, of course, giving it's their perma. I like that XSET picked Dust2. I actually just did a little bit of digging to see their recent results, and in ESEA Intermediate, Dust2 is one of their best maps percentage-wise, so probably have a little bit of confidence there. So hopefully they at least, I mean, maybe they'll surprise us in some way or another.
Of course, you can enter the Twitch vote down below. Potter may not be here, but she can give her expert analysis down in the Twitch chat, hashtag VP or hashtag XSET, for who you think is going to be winning this one. But now it's time to hear from the true experts, the players themselves. Kickert, he's got an interview with our guys at DreamHack.
Lollipop's not out of this one yet. He's keeping Kickert and Buster both busy. And he's finished off in the end, Kickert with a triple kill to make that 250.
Since we got invitation, it feels amazing because it was before like Flashpoint, like we got invitation before we won, so we were really happy like when we got invitation. So we are happy, I guess. Hopefully we have a lot of high chances, but at least we are going to the final. So it's our main aim, but usually we are going to win the tournament, but this time I think it's better to like focus for the final, and in the final we should focus just on the win to win the final.
Angles, but lucky for them, it is passing towards the side, tucking in towards the balcony, and on top Buster finds the box.
It's always interesting to play against girls since we played against them previous year, and we want to see what changed, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, the last time that we saw these two teams play, it was an absolutely dominant display from the then Avangard, now coming in as Virtus.pro. And I wonder, Blair, for this roster, do you think they're feeling any extra pressure now going in as probably the favorite for the entire tournament?
I mean, honestly, if there's any pressure on either of these two teams in this matchup, it has to be in VP, right? They need to make this a clean 2-0. They shouldn't look shaky at all. For the side of, XSET, I don't think they're going to be too worried. They are the massive underdogs coming in here. And even looking at the maps they picked, right? Like the fact that they're picking maps like Overpass coming in and Vertigo being their pick, it kind of very telling. They're not taking this super ultra seriously. They're just going to be using this against a practice game. They are the biggest favorites here. I don't think it's any disrespect coming in from VP. It's just that they know they are the biggest favorite in this tournament alongside maybe Gambit.
Yeah, for sure. I think those are the two teams we're going to be focusing on. I'd be surprised if either of the other teams in this group were able to pull off an upset. On the other side of things, though, we are going to have a little bit of a chat with Mimi to see how they're feeling going into this event.
Mimi's done it. She's only gone and found the shot.
I mean, there's so many emotions. Yeah, I mean, it's teams we never get to play against, so that's super, super exciting. Well, let me tell you, what people expect is 16-0 and 16-0. So can we upset that? I'm sure we can. If there's any game that's an underdog game, it is Counter-Strike. So, I mean, we can prepare as much as possible, and then, I mean, who knows what happens?
Oh no, the classics. This could be dangerous for, and of course, it's Daz. It's all 23 did so well, but sadly not enough.
Oh my god, what a beast.
I just think we need to prove to the rest that we are not just, casual gamers. We are actually very serious about this, and this is what we want, and this is like what we have been fighting for so many years. I'm just super excited, but I'm also nervous, but most excited.
A big opportunity for XSET here, going into a match facing off against the #1 seed in the whole tournament. So, Maui, I'm going to ask you probably the toughest question so far today. How do they beat Virtus.pro? How do they at least make this one competitive?
I'm going to look at Petra, actually. I think Petra is probably the most slept-on player on this team. Later in their ESEA intermediate season, when they were playing against better competition, she was continuously actually showing up. And I got to give her a shout-out because she's the scheduler on the team, and having played ESEA intermediate seasons before, scheduling is the hardest part of that job because it's impossible to reach some of these teams. But no, but in all seriousness, Petra is a player I'm going to be looking out for, so maybe she can be an X factor today.
Well, it's time to ask you a tough question, a really, really tough question, lads. Who are you going to be predicting in this one? Like, are we going the way of XSET? Do you believe that this is their time to shine? Or like me, because I'm going to predict first, are you going with Virtus.pro and just being boring, you know, and copying me?
Wow, okay. If you set it up like that, I'm just going to copy you, Tom. I'm just going to copy you. I'm just going to go the way of VP as well. I'm a very boring person, just like you as well. So yeah, VP all the way is going to be a quick 2-0, hopefully.
Maui?
I do want to see XSET put up a fight, though.
In the words of Freya, you know I love a split desk, but I will have to go with VP. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it that way. My boy Yakinder needs me, so I gotta go. I gotta go with him. Yakinder's the
Twitch
guy.
Twitch chat, you got XSET on this one? They do! I love to see it. There we go. We have a split desk. The true analysts have come in. I'm sure Potter, she's been spamming away in the chat, like letting everybody know that XSET are going to be taking this one. And speaking of Potter, we do have probably one of the greatest duos in Counter-Strike coming up after this break. It is going to be Christine Potter and the curse of the stolen co-caster.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to our live coverage here of the DreamHack Open December. Myself and Pot are going to be guiding you through the action of 3 best-of-3s today, and it's kicking off with VP against XSET. Now, Potter, welcome to the casting desk. You've reached the promised land. You don't have to worry about those scrubs on the desk any longer. It's all good.
Yes, I made it. I made it, Vince. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I thought they did a fantastic job. 2 of my favorite analysts on the desk and Tom Biz. They did a good job kind of previewing this match. But Vince, I think this is our first time casting together an entire event, an entire series together.
That is very true. We casted for a very short period in Rotterdam. It was pretty short-lived. I think it was a map, but now we get a chance to cast a whole lot more Counter-Strike. And what better way to kick off with VP hot off the back of a very impressive victory over at Flashpoint just a few days ago, an XSET with a lot of points to prove. As Mimi said in the pre-game interview, they are the underdogs, make no mistake, but they feel like they've got every chance to bring this back. VP in the meanwhile, though, taking their sweet time to get outside of Long, where Giuliano is waiting with the USP and takes the head of Buster straight away and forces VP back.
Giuliano already finding the opening pick. These pistol rounds are so important for XSET to kind of set the tone early on. And, you know, when we saw this team last year at DreamHack Rotterdam in 2019, the pistol rounds was where they absolutely shined. So Petra finding another opening is throwing down some utility to slow down this A take, and another nice shot coming out from Giuliano.
And she's still alive, still capable of putting down more bullets. It's Petra that takes away the 3rd kill. And VP, after getting destroyed by XSET, have to try and chime together and make something happen. There's Mimi with another USB headshot. Bombs got dropped down, and it could very well be the clean sweep, but only Kickert comes back swinging. XSET pick up the 1st round of our best-of-3.
Fantastic opening coming through from XSET. Nice shots, of course, to back them up, but you saw that they had those crossfires in motion, ready to go, even double peeking to get that last kill. And these are the kind of small, minute details that we were missing from XSET when they were Besiktas last year. So 1 year later, already improvements coming through, and they're absolutely gonna need that coming through in this anti-eco. But VP, they're coming in pretty conservative here. No bias, absolutely none. Just 5 Glocks, but Vince, we've seen some crazy things with Glocks before.
Oh, we certainly have. If Giuliano's not careful, she may get overwhelmed by those Glocks. But in the meanwhile, Zaz helping out with the FAMAS and the MP9 spray in there. It is going to be a post plant though, Potter, which I think honestly VP will be pretty happy about when they've had no investment. It does take their economy forward, but it's important for XSET to keep their 5 players alive, and they've done just that in the defuse.
So many dinks coming through, those little rubber bullets coming out from the Glocks, but you're right, VP, they do get that extra money, that extra economy going in their favor, and this is going to be a full heavy buy. XSET, this is their bonus round. I would like to see some sort of a coordinated, proactive aggression, because their weaponry is just, it's just not going to match up against these AKs. It looks like VP are trying to get this B tunnel control, and XSET are just going to throw a default their way.
Yeah, they are slowing it down. It's that classic bonus round, as you're kind of touching on there, where maybe XSET would do well to get aggressive and take the fight to VP. They can afford into the next round regardless, of course. They're already depleted a little bit on that utility front. Just 2 smokes and incendiary left. Mimi, the timing nearly working against her, but it will work against Christie, who's been forced down. Mimi now headshotted away from Yakinda. They were caught with grenades out in a really awkward position, and now in a post plant on the B side of the map. Can XSET realistically get too much done? Again, they're going to have weapons into the next round, so if they can maybe smuggle out an AK here or there, that could be good enough. But it seems here, Potter, they're being destroyed. I don't really see a way back in for the CTs to get much done.
This one flash, it does start in motion, some sort of a retake, but you're right, Vince, this is a lot to ask. And XSET, they had the one flash, they had the bonus round that we were speaking of, so they thought, you know what, we might as well go for it, see what kind of guns we can get. And Giuliano does get that extra money bonus, but man, in another world, you know, XSET, that Molotov that Mimi threw off from that K-sharp position was burning 2 VP members alive. I think if Petra was able to pop some extra bullets off VP's way, that could have been a different kind of looking defense. But James, he's not patient this game. He's already down lower mid with that AWP, trying to get some action going his way, but XSET, they're down to just these pistols. Mimi, she's got the deagle. Oh, that's some good dinks coming up from Giuliano, but yeah, just not a lot of weaponry. Zaz is going to get taken down as well, and Sanji, he's already heard Petra. There it is. All things considered, a clean round coming up from VP. Some dinks here and there, but man, and XSET, they're still broke. Maui was talking about it. Petra's been the huge heavy hitter in their online leagues, and it looks like Giuliano's going to be starting off this round with the AWP instead of Petra.
Yeah, that's quite curious, isn't it? Maybe based off spawns. Did have a pretty good spawn to peek up middle. They had the choice as well last round of going for a pretty hefty purchase. They decided to stay away for the AWP with lots of flashbangs and smokes now landing down on long. Kicker and Zaz exchanging bullets, explaining a little bit of damage. And now Sanji just tosses himself straight through that smoke. Zaz gets one in return, staying alive in the ramp, giving the rest of the team a chance to rotate round through long, where Giuliano is perched up with the AWP. Flash is tossed in. Zaz may feel compelled to come out swinging, but runs into the arms of Yakinda, who evens it up 3v3. Excellent job from XSET, though, to at least keep VP at bay, and it does allow Mimi to go round the back for a flank.
Good movement coming up from Mimi. She's gonna run into 2 VP members. James has not spotted her, and that's a nice shot from Mimi. She's gotta fall back at this point, not get traded out, but she goes for more and takes them out. Wow, good recovery coming up from XSET. Even the movement coming up from Giuliano, rotating through CT spawn and allowing Zaz to get that second kill. Zaz was stuck between a hard rock and a hard place, but that one flashbang coming through at the last moment is what grants her another kill, equalizes things, turns it into a 3v3, and once again recovered from XSET, keeping them in the lead with 1 round. But another strong buy coming out from VP, and already some splash damage coming out onto Giuliano.
Yeah, she went for that peek. She got winged by Jame, I believe that was, down to 30. We'll have to think twice about re-peeking. Mimi lining up the grenade. That could do a bit of damage. Actually chunk Sanji. And Buster, who's up close in the smoke. Good flashbang tossed down, but Mimi is up to the task. Close range with the M4, getting one. Can't quite double up for a second. Now Crazy at the back of the site tries to do what she can, but there's too many T's charging her away from the site. And now another post plant, 2v4. XSET's economy, not ideal. They do well to hold on to these two weapons, and they realize it. They're perching up for a crossfire through middle, try and deal with the threat of Kickert, who Petra will nullify. And with the kill, maybe they can hold on to these two weapons yet. Jame, not quite landing the right timing, maybe can shut them down from the back, and Petra will find that out firsthand. That could be an AWP that goes begging. Now, Zaz may think about picking this one up, but she must realize that this AK has so much value and so much importance. Good news for her, though. Once that timer ticks down and she feels safe enough, she can just go and press E on that AWP, put the smoke down to afford her safe passage, and look to hold on to it. VP not really in positions to deny her of the AWP. Problem, though, here, Potter, they did concede the round, and apart from the AWP, they don't really have much to play with.
Yeah, not a lot going into this round. They're going to have to focus on just keeping VP's money tight. 3 surviving members. They don't want this economy to get out of hand and allow VP to just do what they want with whatever guns that they want. So XSET coming into this round, just looking to do some damage of some kind. Giuliano does get that first spot. And that was a tiny bit of damage from the AWP on the Ekender. Very weird. Petra with this scout's about to run into a lot of traffic coming her way. And she's all alone up here on this top bomb site. This smoke should buy her a little bit of time, and that shot was so close for her. But Sanji just takes over the entire bomb site, and this is it. XSET. They're just going to be trying to look to recover some kills to go their way. Giuliano doing the jumping flusher, but it just doesn't grant her anything into this round.
Similar situation to the last one as well, where really you don't have too many options available. They do have a kit in the hands of Zaz, but they need to get frags and they need them quick. The bomb fuse is ticking away. Big headshot though on the approach, which gets countered by Buster, who spins around for 2 and could be in for a 3rd, and indeed locks it down. And that's costly for XSET. They had 2 AWPs in play. Now they have nothing left.
I don't like that, Vince. I don't like that at all. I thought XSET had VP right where they wanted them, constricted and stuck into the bomb site. And as I mentioned, going into that round, I think XSET's mentality should have been to just pick off some VP members and keep their money tight. But now they lose that AWP. They're broke. They've only got the one flashbang onto Krassi's back. And depending on what kind of setup, this is going to be a long A setup. And that flashbang doesn't get them anything. Kicker's so ready for it. And just some nice shots coming out from VP. The idea was there. I think the one flashbang and just USPs, you know, you can't get a lot done in that instance. But coming into this round, even as well, Vince, they're still broke. XSET. No AWP is going to be coming out into this round. We haven't seen Petra with an AWP besides the one round that she picked it up off of Giuliano's dead body. And she just got an exit kill. So once again, the money... This is tough choices for XSET coming in. Do they just go for a conservative buy, maybe some deagle, some utility, half armor, and approach this round as if it's a gun round, just bluff it out? Or do they fully invest? I'd like to see a little bit more conservative, but the FAMASs are going to be coming out, Vince. XSET, they don't want VP to get more rounds on the board, so this is where they're going to make their stand.
It does seem quite risky though, doesn't it? It's still fairly early days. I understand that you have to have confidence in your own ability that you can pull this out the fire. But as you touched on there, Potter, it does hit them with a lack of AWPs. I was expecting to maybe see a scout picked in. We saw Krassi earlier land a really solid scout shot from the catwalk, but the smoke is off. Giuliano goes wide swinging and loses her life as a result. Still 2 players on B though, in the form of Mimi and Krassi with some flashbangs tossed in. They need to be perfectly placed flashbangs if they're going to be able to weather the storm. And the storm has ripped straight through the B site. Yakinda should have Petra dead to rights. Great flick from Petra. Solid work, but ultimately it's a drop in the bucket because VP now leads 6-3, and that's the economy being shattered again.
Yeah, fast pace coming out from VP. They knew it. They knew that XSET was not going to be working with much. And Giuliano maybe just caught off guard by Yakindar and his perfect crosshair placement. The guy's a beast. Giuliano definitely needed a little bit of help to hold down that B mid. But once again, Vince, we're in the same scenario. XSET working with scraps, just a couple of pistols coming their way. And VP, calm, cool, and collected. Crassi, P250 coming in. Not hot that time around, just get taken out by Sanji. And this should just be, once again, just a cut and dry post-plant scenario. Mimi, see if she can't get herself a gun, but... Ooh, there is a player in T-spawn. But Kicker, so disciplined. I don't know that Petra is even going to think to clear this Aang.
Fortunately for Petra, though, it is only a USP. It will be frustrating.
Oh, don't
no,
do it
kick
to her.
it. Don't do it. Don't shank. Okay, good. Good. And to be fair, that probably just saved his life because Giuliano was waiting just behind. So that could have definitely worked out against him. VP, though, dealing with the threat of XSET, which really, as we've touched on already, wasn't exactly ideal. But we are getting into that point now where Potter, where you're trailing 7-3, you had a really good start, you posted up a 2-0 lead, things have been slipping away, you've got enough for potentially 2 AWPs. You've got to start converting your chances at this stage, otherwise they could just slip completely out of control.
This is very curious, Vince. You mentioned the double AWP, and I thought that was surely where we'd go, but Petra decided that the rifle is where she wants to be, and Giuliano's got that AWP into her hands once again, and yeah, it does seem like Petra, she just wanted to get boosted up onto that cat and be a support with that rifle. We'll see how that pays off. Giuliano, nice opening pick. Even the sliver of an angle to dodge that pop flash coming Buster's way. So this is a fantastic start coming out from XSET to find that opening kill. And Zaz even going for more. What an angle. Kicker, not even expecting it. James. We know exactly what kind of damage he can do in these kinds of positions. And this middle, it has been the source of XSET's problems, but Zaz, she's got so much real estate towards the short A. It should give them a lot more confidence in this middle hold.
Flash is good. Sanji fully blinded. At least seeks the sanctuary of the alcove, but there's a counter flash tossed in. Exquisite work. Can they bounce back? Petra says no. M4 in hand. Shuts down Sanji's aggression. This is more like it from XSET. Great to see, but now James will hold on. Crassi gets a little bit too aggressive through middle. Giuliano, second best. You assume that she had that one in the bag. She had the angle perfectly, and somehow Yakindar still comes around the corner, takes the head clean off, and takes it from a 2v4 into a 2-on-2.
Yakindar is so damn good, so deadly. James, he knows patience pays off. Yakindar, he's going to be getting into a free bomb site here. He doesn't have the smoke. It's on James' back, but if he needs to, James will peek this middle at the same time. This is looking like a free bomb plant. 4 VP coming through, and James' position is so crucial. A jiggle here, a jiggle there. It's not enough. Mimi gets taken out, and Petra all alone, looking left and right. There's so many angles for her to clear. She does have the kit, and she has a smoke. 1v1, both of these guys are isolated at the moment, but Yakindar, too good, too strong. 16K on most of these players on VP's back. And I mentioned it, you know, XSET, this was the dream scenario, being up 5 versus 3, Giuliano fighting that opening pick, but VP just have all their eggs in the right basket. They just know exactly how to recover from these types of scenarios. And obviously it helps that their mechanical ability is just so good. XSET gets punished out, and once again, Vince, they're broke. They got nothing.
They clumped together on long. 4 players strong with just Crassi watching middle. No flashbangs to precede the push, so they're hoping for slow peaks one by one. See if they can punish it. Is Yakindar taking point? Here comes the peak, but it's the massacre. All the bloodshed going against XSET. They did get 1 consolation kill onto Kickert. But VP will be stomping to a 9-3 lead. And this at one point was actually XSET 2-0 in the lead and then 3-2 in the lead. And having some really good rounds for themselves. They will be able to afford everything they want. I'm curious to see again, Potter, if we do spot Giuliano on the AWP and Petra with no secondary. It seems like Petra, though, right off the bat, has picked herself up an AWP. And here we go. The double up we were expecting is now come into play.
That did double AWP. It did pay off for them early last time. Looks like XSET are going to try to get that long A control. And James not quite as aggressive this time around, but a lot of pressure in these B tunnels coming through from VP. Petra is about to be blind as a bat. Oh, VP's timing. Oh, Petra had an opening, a chance perhaps, but those flashes do eventually catch her and she gets traded out. It's all gone to shambles here. XSET's defense is all falling apart. And VP, once again, Petra, she had a sliver of a chance to find that opening before those flashes popped off. But either way, VP, their set plays, those set pieces, they're coming in and they're coming in hot. I think XSET need to be, oh, it's just so tough though to be even more proactive and aggressive like that on Dust 2. But if somehow they can make VP a little more uncomfortable to just throw out a set piece right from the get-go, it could help out XSET. But at this point, they're just getting hunted down, Vince.
Yeah, it doesn't bode too well, does it? They've all been dispatched with haste, no saved guns. Very awkward economy again, mid to high $3,000. So in terms of a purchase, not looking ideal. And they may just have to prioritize going for rounds over saving their pennies and cents. And as we saw earlier in one of the stats, there is a big experience difference here in terms of VP. You know, they've just come off the back of a huge victory over at Flashpoint, playing against some of the best teams in the world. The favorites for a reason in this game. In terms of this round, it is more of a half buy, but I was just curious, Potter, to pick your brain a little bit here, because obviously you've played against quite a few of the individuals in XSET in the past. Where do you think their strengths lie in the likes of Zaz, who's been around for so long now?
You know, it's never been a question of mechanical skill. We know that these ladies are absolutely strong. You know, Zaz, she's been farming in the female scene for so many years. And Giuliano, you know that she's got a good head on her shoulders. She's a good in-game leader, but we just haven't quite been able to show all that progress, right? So this time I'm looking for better ideas coming through, and I'm actually seeing them. XSET, as I say that, they're able to turn around and win this anti-eco. I don't even know what the heck just happened, Vince. I don't think Petra does either.
It was just wild. It seemed like they stacked the perfect angles. We had a team kill here from Kicker, shutting Sanji down the back of the head, and then Petra just springs into action perfectly with the P250. Excellent turnaround, and they've now got themselves a solid purchase. It's double ups. All of the economic woes have now been somewhat salvaged. It is the last round of the half, though. They've got to make this one work, and already Kicker has isolated Zaz from the rest of her team. And she gets shut down. From Petra's perspective, she was smoked off, was flashed off, couldn't see a single thing. And they desperately required Petra to stay alive and put down some pain in the process. And that's exactly what she's done onto James.
Petra, nice equalizer, but now she's just stuck. So much pressure is going to come her way. She does have 2 flashes, and you can see that both players on XSET's side are anti-flash. So there's Petra's last flash. She's going to try to make a cross. This is ambitious on her part. She does get punished for it. And once again, VP, they are in the lead. A man up. Giuliano throwing a flashbang to hold off VP's attack, but it's going to be pretty important for Giuliano to find this pick on the crossing. No smokes on the VP side. The one flashbang. Oh, but the timing for Giuliano couldn't be worse. Sanji is able to find her out, and XSET, they're just down to the 2 players. Kicker, good Molotov, and the timing, and it's just down to Mimi.
And tagged down hard to 20 HP. She knows where one of the last 3 players are, but it's Buster with the AK that will shut down this half. Find out if XSET can come back on their choice of map after this short break.
Feeling that this night is These are golden nights, no more time to waste. Gotta turn to right, party till the day. These are golden nights, opportunity will wait. Gotta turn to right, party till the day. These are golden, golden nights. These are golden nights, opportunity will wait. Gotta turn to right, party till the day. These are golden nights. Hey, yeah, it's nothing new, you know we do this every weekend. Once Friday hits, you know there ain't gonna be no sleeping. We spreading love around here, it's a hater-free zone. So drop your attitudes and come and get what we on. We gonna party like it's 2020. I'ma spend my rent checking all my money. I gotta get it while I can, cause you know I got work in the morning. So no more waiting, I can't shake this feeling in my soul. So let me know if you wanna go, cause now's the time. These are golden nights, no more time to waste. Gotta turn to right, party till the day. These are golden nights, opportunity will wait. Gotta turn to right, party till the day.
Strike that Exit will feel they could have done a little bit better in. They had chances, we saw glimpses, and they started the match in pretty fine form, 3-2 at one point. But Potter, as the half continued, VP's experience and their superior firepower started to shine a little bit brighter.
Definitely shining through, but interesting start coming up from Exit, throwing that Xbox smoke right off the bat and some cat aggression, not even stopping. Zaz is going for more, just throwing out some sound cues and hoping to keep VP on the defense. But Yakindar, he has been dangerous this half so far, but a quick jump coming up from Mimi. This does look like a B mid split, and VP, they're not ready for it. Or
Big
are they?
headshots being exchanged as well, though, Potter, and it seemed like they weren't ready for it, but their aim is just on such good point that they're landing headshots left and right. Petra and Krasi, you could see the tactics taking shape, the cogs were turning, but a wrench has been thrown in the machinery, and now VP looking good to clutch this. Petra, though, is going to make it a little bit more costly, still retaining control over the bomb, but low HP, as is Jame. Next kill goes the way of Petra, and she knows where the last player is. She heard bullets rattling away from tunnels. This is clutchable, and Petra takes it down. A 4K as Exit take both pistols.
Petra, what is her res, sense? Everything. I need to know it. Holy moly, her sensitivity went crazy there, but her crosshair placement was perfect. And it did seem like Petra she was feeling it that round, Vince. She was absolutely feeling it. That's going to be 2 pistols secured for Exit coming through. And this time, once again, VP coming through with the conservative buy. They're not gonna invest anything coming into this round, Vince. We've seen this paying off for them before early on in the first half with the stronger buy into that third round, but Exit are still approaching this round very safely. And as it should be, Sanji, it's a little bit of damage taken his way. And Exit, they have not moved at all. We still have Krasi and T-Spawn.
This is where one of the points that you raised, Potter, on the first half, where it felt like Exit weren't taking enough of initiative, weren't being driven enough when it came to trying to take these audacious plays on the CT side. And let's remember that P250 clutch that Petra picked up on Catwalk came off the back of some aggression. Now they're through on the T side. They get to dictate the pace of the action. They get to take the fight to VP and try and poke and probe where they're weak. In terms of this round, USP's only up against them. You expect XSET to get this done pretty convincingly without really any loss of life. On the cross, they're doing a lot of damage. James just been picked off by Petra, and Zaz in perfect position. the Galil's being put down range. And one thing that we never expected to have an issue with was XSET's mechanical skill. They've shown it in both pistols. They've got great aim. They've shown it in these anti-eco rounds, now being successful twice in a row. But it's been more tactically where it feels like they maybe drift away. Now VP, as a result of their fairly passive play, have an AWP already in their hands with 4 assault rifles. No kits, though. That could be a problem.
I'd like to see something aggressive coming out from XSET. They know that VP shouldn't have the Molotovs to slow down any sort of a push, and it does look like this is going to be a B-pop of some kind. I love this coming out from XSET. I do think they need a little bit of mid-pressure of some sort. You can see that VP, they've got that cat pressure, that cat control, so that should make the rotations a lot faster coming up from VP. But Kicker, he's about to have himself a clip or have himself a lot of trouble. He's got Buster to back him up, who's not blind. A clean, easy opening. That Molotov is going to prove to be a lot of trouble for XSET, and they are low, Vince.
Yeah, they're really struggling here, and Buster is shredding them with a 4K. So many flashbangs tossed in, plenty of damage alongside his teammates, but he will be the player to stack up 22 kills and 8 deaths. He has been a powerhouse, and this is where the issue came in the first half as well, Potter. In terms of mechanical aim, they are spot on XSET, but when it comes to these tactics, it feels like VP are just a step ahead at every single turn.
Yeah, VP definitely feeling good after they were just won $500,000, Vince. They are on top of the world, and you can absolutely see it. Yakindar, a blind target, and Petra, that's going to be a Kobe. Oh, no, it's not. Petra surviving by the skin of her teeth. And Yakindar just backing away, making things even more difficult for XSET, playing this round to perfection. Kicker, he just got a sound cue from lower B.
With so much time left, though, that information has a sell-by date. Will be expiring momentarily. And XSET will be moving around. Krasi having a rough round. Basically perched at the back of the tunnels. Petra down to 22. Another grenade. This time knocks her down to 17 instead of 22. And with
Petra's got some god armor right now, Vince.
She's got that Kevlar on.
Yeah,
definitely.
Dodging those HE grenades, but this should be a cat pop of some play, and I like the fact that Petra's going first. Bait her. Bait the shit out of her if you're XSET here.
Zaz down first off, and Jame looking to rattle a few more heads. Only 38 seconds left. He can see a head bobbing and weaving, but it's Petra's that's now taken off by Yakinda. Krasi showing what she can do with the AK, but many more kills will have to be following up, and Giuliano knew that her days were numbered. Just went for the guaranteed bomb plant. VP, no issues on the defuse and only lose the one player. So at least with the bomb plant, they're going to be able to get a little bit more money in their back pocket, but nobody over the $3,200 mark. Doesn't really give them too many options here, Potter.
Yeah, not a lot of options for XSET, and it just does seem like VP, let's be real, Vince. They know that they're the better players. They know that they're the better team. They are showing a nice line of respect for XSET and not just completely Wing across the map, but there are certain angles that Yakindar is just going to feel really confident taking, and you saw it there. Just peeking, finding almost 2 kills in mid, 1.5 for himself, and Sanji just going to mold him down. The AK, he does get caught with the flashbang. So he's only one and done there. And XSET, they are able to retrieve that AK. Mimi passes it over to Petra. See what she can do with it. And Petra's got that one smoke on her back. That's probably not where she wanted it.
And all of this stalling, all this delaying has allowed Buster to move in position. It was called from Sanji early that they were all pushing him on long doors. Flashbang is good. The spray follow-up is decent. Not good enough to yield the rest of the frags, but now Jame in perfect position alongside Kicker will clean the round up. VP 14, XSET 6, but you have to take into consideration out of those 6 rounds, 4 of them have come off the back of the pistols. When it's got into rifle territory, VP have been head and shoulders above their opponents.
And this time around, also XSET, they don't have a good spawn. Once again, I've been looking to see if they've got a good long A spawn to contest. It does look like they will contest, but they didn't have the optimal spawn. Number 1's already crossing the pit. Yakindar finds Krasi, and she was all alone. Mimi gets mowed down in the cave, and VP's got that long A control, even an HE grenade to make sure Giuliano gets the message. And VP are in full control. Vince, I mentioned it. Exit, they didn't have the optimal spawn. I like the fact that they tried to make their utility work for them, but that's one of those RNG things about Dust 2 that I think a lot of maybe overlooked a bit. Is just the spawn placements. Even on the CT side, if you're a long A defender, if you're Valde every round, but you've got that B mid split spawn, you're already kind of at a disadvantage. But this time, Exit, they can't really get much in the beginning of this round.
Yeah, whiffed smoke from Zaz actually played out for it because VP decided to push through it. Basically giving a freebie across. They still lead by a player. Giuliano down to 12. Now the smoke's coming over towards Catwalk. We've already seen the XSET have no issues dropping down and trying to at least fake for a B split. Flash is good, forces Yukinda out, but still plenty of HP to his name and a smoke put down. Org trained into position. 30 seconds. Sanji can sense there's a chance at getting flanked, and he had the correct decision. His aim was off, and Giuliano, 2 beautiful headshots come through from her. XSET now post-plant looking good for maybe their 7th round.
What a shot. 2 shots coming out from Giuliano. Only 12 HP. Buster does have the opening onto Petra. There it is. She does go down. This makes Giuliano's job a lot harder, but she's already rendezvoused back up with Zaz. That Molotov should slow down any sort of a defuse, but VP, you could see it. They're still worried about Giuliano potentially being towards long A here. This could prove to be the checkmate for Zaz if she times it right, but just misses the frag, but she's done enough, I think. Nope. The defuse is going to come through for Jame. That was close, Vince.
Very close. Yeah, one of the best chances I think they've had in rifle rounds, honestly, and it came off the back of just a beautiful couple of headshots from Giuliano, especially that second one to Sanji. He instantly got his head ripped off. And you felt like if XSET were going to get any success in this match, they had to convert these 2v3, 3v3 scrappy situations. Could see there from Giuliano's perspective as the Swedes just swiftly punished VP. But they now trail by 9. They've got a buy of sorts into effect. It's 3 Galils, but maybe they can start to mount the comeback.
And I guess we'll have to ask the ladies after it's some sort of interview, but I guess Giuliano might be the primary AWPer now, and Petra might be a secondary, because we've seen Giuliano being the primary majority of this Dust 2. She's got that glass cannon on her back right now, and Petra gets taken out. You could see Zaz was priming her flash, maybe a little bit of an early peek coming out from Petra, and it's just falling apart across the map. Sanji is able to punish Giuliano out as well. Jame is going to pop flash for Yakindar.
It's looking a little bit grim here, Potter. Mimi, Krasi, and Zaz make that just Mimi and Krasi. 2v5. Weaken Jame against them, 55 seconds. If I'm looking at a couple of maybe silver linings, Mimi's got a frag and they at least have control over the bomb. But now Krasi's position is known, and she's coming up against the AWP of Jane, who will sit in position and put this map to bed. 1-0 lead for VP. There were some twists and turns there, Potter. It wasn't maybe as one-sided as some people would have expected, but ultimately VP were just too good.
Ultimately, yes. I mean, Yakindar, he's not looking like he skipped a beat since we saw him in Flashpoint 2. This VP, they're looking strong. Even when they're not hitting their shots, they've got so many layers in their defense and in their attack that just make all their opponents always sweat it out. So that's what we saw here, man. Exit, they couldn't get much going on Dust 2.
Yeah, it was a rough day at the office, but they have a chance to come back, Potter. It's not done just yet. The desk will break down all the action on Dust 2 after this short break.
It may not have been a Christmas miracle for the side of XSET, but I guess we could say it wasn't necessarily as bad as it could have been. They had their opportunities, even a few slip-ups here and there where we almost felt like XSET could actually take some extra rounds and potentially get themselves into the match, but Maui, we were sort of speaking. It looked like the ideas were in the right place. Unfortunately, some of the execution may not have been as on point as they'd like.
Yeah, I'll actually give XSET some decent credit here because I feel like the theory behind a lot of their rounds and their setups was solid. It was good flashes to help the CT anchor players, good setups on their eco rounds. They even stole a round from VP where they just had pistols because they all worked together towards middle. It was a nice mid setup, and I do have to give credit to XSET because I feel like even though it was a 16-6 scoreline, there were a few 5v4 man advantage, woman advantage situations where I think they should have probably gotten even more from this game.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. And sort of talking on those points, but do we sort of see the real terror when it comes to this Virtus.pro roster? Because there were so many situations where in most cases you're out of those rounds, but the sheer depth of their squad just seemed to bring them back from points of like 2v4s, and I think it was 3v2s as well, where it just looked like they should have been out of the round, but unfortunately for XSET, they just didn't quite convert them.
Yeah, it's also like you mentioned, the individuality of some of these players. Like James, you know how it can pull off these almost impossible rounds. It feels like against teams of, no disrespect to XSET, but against teams of a much higher caliber. In fact, even sometimes higher than VP as well. So they have the depth. I also loved how they were taking this game very seriously. I can also imagine a world where a team like VP, like, yeah, we're just going to pug it. We're just going to win it anyway. They weren't doing that. They were going to proper executes. That B take was textbook proper set pieces. And XSET obviously struggled a little bit against them because of that. Again, I don't want to be too harsh on XSET, mainly because it depends on your opponents, right? I don't know how much they get to scrim against teams of the caliber of a VP or maybe a Gambit, so maybe they're not used to it. But like Maui mentioned, they had some good ideas. I like some of the aggression coming up towards Cat, towards mid at times, although it was a little bit too individualistic for my liking. But hey, you're going up against a team like VP. You need to take some risks, and they weren't playing scared. You know, some huge runs coming out from Petra, especially. Maui pointed out Petra, and for me, I thought it was going to be Giuliano and Zaz, but she really popped off. That 1v3 clutch was great. She was a top fragger from the team. And heading into map number 2, yeah, I'm expecting a little bit more of a fight coming out from this women's team. They're looking pretty decent, actually.
Well, that was the question I was almost going to ask, Maui, is like going into Vertigo, I sort of spoke to Petra beforehand. She named like Train Overpass and Dust 2 as maps that they feel confident on. Do you think Vertigo is going to be a map that they'll be able to do much at all? Because it's one that I feel like is a very difficult map to pug. Although we saw people doing it towards the very beginning of the map, nowadays it's become a very eccentric map, and teams have to have those sort of structured takes, otherwise they seem to struggle.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bit more difficult for them than Dust 2. During the ESCA season they just played, they only played Vertigo once and they lost it. So I don't think this is a comfort pick at all for XSET. In fact, it is VP's pick, of course. But the thing is on the VP side is that this is usually a map that they've kind of been toying with. Maybe they'll just throw it in if it's in an upper bracket game. Yakinder even told me before that sometimes they just pick Vertigo just because they don't know what else to pick. It's not really one of their strong suits, but they just said they just do it if the other team is potentially weak at the map. So I think VP might be kind of good in theory on this map as well, but they do have less reps on this than some of the maps like Inferno, Mirage, where they're super comfortable.
Well, the only thing left to ask is, can they do it on Vertigo? Will Potter be scarred once again, or can XSET rise to the occasion? We'll find out after the break.